The European Union voting to levy between 10 and 25% tariffs on all U.S. goods. You can hear they're getting ready for opening bell to start ringing. Not all news today is bad news. If you're looking at the futures, Nike is up. Gold is also up about 3%. Tesla up as well. And the 10-year Treasury yield jumping 19 basis points, hitting 4.5% in the middle of the night. The 30-year Treasury yield is at its highest overnight, a level that has not been seen since November of 2023. Sean, Emma, the opening bell getting ready to be ringing right now as we hit the markets open for the day.
Yep. A lot of different elements we're watching, and we can hear you just fine. Christina, thank you so much for that report. Let's welcome in now Tim Phillips, Director of Government Affairs and Global Strategies at Nestpoint, and Anthony Esposito, CEO and founder of Island Capital Investments. Welcome to you both. Tim, can we get your thoughts on what Christina had to say? Again, markets, really a roller coaster. That's sort of the best way to describe it.
There's going to be turbulence, but for decades, China has practiced outrageous abuses on the trade front with the United States and the rest of the world. And so, yes, there will be short-term turbulence, but the president is right to do this, especially with regard to China. And I think it's telling that our allies in that crucial region, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, they're rushing to get deals done. They understand, because China is in their neighborhood, exactly what's at stake here. So it's a big moment. Yes, there's some turbulence, but especially with China, the president is on the right track, and it's something, candidly, we've needed to do for decades.
All right, so Anthony, we've got to get your reaction to the breaking news. Obviously, the EU hitting back now in the United States, following China's lead as well. Remember, China raised tariffs now to 84% on U.S. goods coming to China. So now the EU has stepped it up now on a broad list of goods, American goods, up to 25% tariffs. Those would be implemented on April 15th. So again, the EU hitting back on these tariffs as well. And it ends with this, that the countermeasures can be suspended at any time, that from the EU, should the United States agree to a fair and balanced negotiated outcome. So they want to come to the table, they want to negotiate. But in the meantime, again, they put up now these, what you would call their retaliatory tariffs. Anthony, your thoughts here? Is that expected?
I think it's expected, but I think it's honestly more saber-rattling than anything else. We're dealing with surplus nations. So whether we talk about the EU or we talk about China, who exports 5 times to us what we export to them, they need to come to the table at some point and create a fair trade agreement. This is about trade deficits, and trade deficits are something that need to come down. It's something that's been ignored by this country for decades, and it's contributing to lack of jobs in manufacturing in the U.S. It's contributing to a slush of U.S. dollars being sent out globally, and that's contributing to a weaker dollar and inflation. So there's a big puzzle here. President Trump is on the right track. Secretary Bessent could not be more on point with not only his data points and his view, but his poise in discussing and explaining exactly what the markets are doing, what the economic policies are doing, and the turmoil that's being created, and what the longer-term view looks like. So they can counter our tariffs, and they can say they're willing to come to the table, which they are, and they will, and this will all settle, and it will settle to the benefit of the United States. But as I've been saying for months, there's going to be a cleanup between policy implementation and policy effect. And the markets are unfortunately going to be the mop there. They are going to see the volatility. They are going to feel it. There are going to be big trades unwinding. There are going to be big resets, and the market is going to be kind of the tip of the spear with that noise.
Yeah. The U.S., obviously, a huge producer of goods and, as we know, consumer of goods as well. So the president, no doubt, is the one picking up the phone when those countries are calling, trying to get a deal. The auto industry, though, has almost a different approach when you're looking at it from a U.S. perspective here. And I just wanted to share this headline. Auto tariffs are steering jobs back to the United States. Workers' unions, the Auto Workers Union, calling the tariffs a victory for American workers for ending the broken trades throughout the auto industry. Tim, what does this mean for the American worker?
It's a continued realignment there. It was really impressive at the president's initial announcement of the tariffs that so many of the American Auto Worker Union members were in that audience and very enthusiastic. This is a continued realignment that President Trump is leading for a new Republican Party that's broader and deeper than certainly I've seen in my lifetime, and I've been involved as a Republican now since the 1980s. So it's a dramatic play. And it's important also to note, as this market turbulence is occurring, I think this is something those union workers are looking at. Energy production is up in the United States. Oil is headed below $75 a barrel. We're going to see really inexpensive gas by the summer and fall, I bet. The jobs report, 228,000 new jobs were created above expectations. So there are strong fundamentals on this economy. I do think the Republicans in the House and Senate especially have got to get their act together. They've got to get that big, beautiful bill done to extend the Trump tax cuts from 2017 and to eliminate taxes on tips. That's the next crucial step.
Yeah, good point. And he put that on Truth Social this morning, to your point about getting that legislation passed in the House, really in Congress. Tim Phillips and Anthony Esposito, thank you both. We do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A federal judge ordering the White House to restore the Associated Press's full access to cover presidential events. When we return from break, Judge Andrew Napolitano weighs in on that. You're watching National Report. We'll be right back.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.